Now is Mississippi Republican Senator Roger Wicker. Senator, it's great to have you on. Female sexual assault is an outrage. It's a disgrace. Everybody on both sides of the aisle agrees with that. Women that I talk to, I personally agree with that. It's about the standards of proof that we accept as a society, right?
Well, yes, and let me say, I think no one said it better than Susan Collins today. I sat there watching her spellbound, and I have to say, I think 25 years from now, 50 years from now, historians will look back at this moment, at this speech, and say it was one of the most profoundly significant speeches in the history of the Senate. She laid it out point by point, methodically, thoughtfully, convincingly, and you know, I've been to Maine with Susan Collins, to the shipyards, up and down the streets. The people of that state love her, and today I think it's obvious to the nation why that's true.
You know, Senator, when you put on the black robes of a Supreme Court justice, you uniformly adhere to the Constitution. That's why Susan Collins is saying yes to Judge Kavanaugh. In other words, Republicans appointed Anthony Kennedy, David Souter, Sandra Day O'Connor. All three of them voted in the plurality in 1992 to support Roe v. Wade. But we had an audible gasp in the room when Manchin voted yes to move the Kavanaugh nomination to a full vote. He's under a lot of pressure there. What's your take on what's going on, the lay of the land there?
Well, I was pleased to see at least one Democrat come along. Now, it may very well be that he had his eye on the election 4.5 weeks from now. But for whatever reason, it was a relief to me. And back to the general point that Susan Collins made, a president is entitled to his or her choice on the Supreme Court. And she's never voted against an appointee, and I think the point that Americans need to realize in this debate is that regardless of whether you come down center right or center left, if the judge is qualified, if he's thoughtful, if he's learned, he or she deserves to be confirmed. And this was a lesson, I think, to Americans and to me today. And really, it was a profound and emotional moment for this senator to listen to one of the giants.
What line jumped out at you the most? Because Susan Collins is saying Judge Kavanaugh is not going to give special protection to Donald Trump when it comes to the special counsel probe, or even do anything that she thinks would, you know, upset Democrats when it comes to Obamacare. What line jumped out at you?
She went point by point to explain why that's true. I think one of the main things. One of the main points and important points that she made was the standard of proof. You didn't have to prove an allegation against Judge Kavanaugh beyond a reasonable doubt, but at least the charge should be more likely to be true than not. And she concluded that as sympathetic a witness as Dr. Ford is, her account was less likely than not to be accurate, and I appreciate her analyzing it and standing up and showing that courage.
That's a great take there on that, giving us details there, Senator. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Now, despite 51 senators now